I think at this stage, it's probably fair to say that if I'm starting an episode with the game already paused, things are bad. And things are definitely bad right now. We have 2,299 units of food for a population that is just about 750 people, if not more. And we need to do something about that. Now, I've been doing some research, and I have discovered, based on a couple of Reddit posts from 10 years ago, that beans are apparently considerably better to grow than things like potatoes and squash. Squash, according to a lot of numbers and statistics, is the least efficient crop that you can grow in Banished. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around every single one of my crop fields and replace the squash with beans. Now, also, according to those numbers, potatoes are pretty inefficient as well. The main thing that you want to look into is squash, corn, and cabbages. Peppers are also up there, but we don't have those seeds right now. So what I'm going to do is also go around and replace all of my potato fields with cabbage fields. Now, it is worth mentioning that that's not going to fix things right away. We're not going to see the fruits of those labors until next, I guess, autumn, because they have stuff already growing in these fields. They're not going to harvest it and replant at this stage of the game, but that's just one phase of how I hope to fix things. And also, just while I've got your attention, I want to mention that if it sounds like there's a bunch of like fan noise, there is on my microphone, that is, because I've got like a fan over yonder. I've got a fan on the other side of me. I've got a little air conditioning thing on my desk that's blasting cold air at me. It is ridiculously warm in my office right now. So I've got so many things just blasting me with cold air. That's the only way I'm getting through these videos that I gotta do today. It is ridiculously warm. Here's the thing. Very quick story, and then we'll continue Banished. I'm also keeping it paused intentionally. I know it's not a lot to look at, but it's intentional. Basically, when we first built this office, we converted a garage into an office, into like a nice studio. We have so much insulation on this thing. It just traps heat. It doesn't let heat out. So any heat that gets trapped with this, because the sun just stays in here. And it doesn't help that the door is like glass. So it's like a magnifying glass for heat. It's ridiculous. It's so bad. Anyway, enough about that. Let's talk a little bit more about what we're doing with Banished. So I've changed all the fields already. We are no longer growing squash. We are no longer growing potatoes, but that's really not going to help us out. If we go and look at the numbers, 107 nomads, nope, not happening. If we look at the numbers, last year we did 79,667 units of food produced. We had 82,000 consumed. So that's not the worst deficit. It's a deficit of, let's say, 2,500. That's not bad. It's still a deficit though. And when we're sitting this low on food, that's a major problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around and I'm going to build a bunch of fishing docks. And I'm going to try and get these things as close together as I possibly can. So I'm going to say we're going to have one right here. And if I look at the radius on this guy, I want to get another one roughly there. And I could get another one down there, but that's a little bit too much of a distance. So 2 fishing docks right here will definitely help us out. We're going to want to get them a barn, most likely. I mean, there is one up here, but I think a barn a little bit closer to them might be a pretty solid idea. So we'll have a little path that goes like this and a little section of path that just goes like this. So those line up really nicely. And honestly, I think I will just let them use that barn that's there already. Now, 2 more fishing docks is not going to be enough. That's plus 4,000-ish fish per year. The good news is we have this space up here as well. So what I can do is I can go and get myself a little dock. Let's hope I can do this right about here. And there's a little bit of overlap with these guys, but this one has access to all of the water around here, which is fantastic. We can also do one right down here, which is a beautiful little spot for a fishing dock. So let's see what the overlap looks like. We want to go to right about there for a dock. We'll get some paths for these guys as well. I might do a little barn out there. We don't necessarily need a barn out there. We have this one here. So maybe, you know what? Let's not overdo it. This is going to be a lot of construction that we have to get done. So let's be very careful with it. We can also do a fishing dock right about here, which is going to overlap with that guy a little bit, I think, or maybe not. We'll go for here. I don't think there's going to be too much overlap on that. That'll be another plus 2,000 fish, hopefully. And then things are going to get interesting because I want to come up into this space where there's a little bit of water, and I want to get some fishing docks out here as well. I'm not too sure that these guys are going to be the most efficient, but again, we kind of need them. So I'm going to build a fishing dock right about there. There is a barn down here, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. And my goal really is going to be to just sort of dot fishing docks the entire way along this little section of river. I'm hoping I can get one in here as well, which I absolutely can. There might be a bit of3 on these guys. So this one and this one, yeah, there's a little bit of overlap. But again, that's, 4 more fishing docks there. That's 3 more over here. So that's 7 in total. Plus the 2 down here is 9. So that's plus 18,000 fish, assuming we max this out. And we can potentially make that plus 20,000 with a little dock right here as well. Now this one is going to get a barn. And honestly, barns are kind of the next thing that I want to do before I even let the game run. Because I want to try and just optimize everything as much as I possibly can. So if we look at these farms over here, yes, there are 2 barns right here. But what we could do is get another one and just throw it right there. And that's going to give them even less distance to cover should they want to store some things. It means that they don't have to go from here to that barn. They just go to this one. Same story up here. We're going to go ahead and build ourselves a barn in this spot and just see if we can, get something pretty good for that area. It means these guys don't have to come down into the town. They just go straight to that barn. And that is exactly what we're looking for. And then I realize all of these fishing docks are going to need to be connected to just different little spots as well. So we'll get a little path right there and bring it over like this. And that lines up nicely. This one is a similar story. We'll bring it over like this. And then this one is also similar story. Bring it over. We'll bring it sort of down like this and around. Let's see. Is that in line? It absolutely is. So I think these guys, given that there is no barn in this space, we can probably get away with a barn right about here. And so that'll be the barn for those 3 fishing docks that we have in this area. And you know what? I think I am going to go ahead and build a little barn just down here as well. We actually have a bit of space between the 2 paths for these new docks where we can build one right about there. It's maybe a little bit unnecessary, but again, the whole idea is that we're hopefully going to be able to just minimize the distance that people need to go in order to, deliver their food to a barn and then have someone from a market come and pick it up. Now, you might think that's about the point where we can let the game run, but it isn't, because we're having other problems as well. We are getting to be low on firewood, and there's a lot of wood just sitting around up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and say that I want to build more woodcutters, and I'm kind of looking at this space and thinking that might be good for it, but I think what we'll do is, let's see, do I want to do a woodcutter here? I think what we'll do is give ourselves a few woodcutters. We'll go and say 1, 2, and let's say 3 and 4. We'll do 4 of them for now. That'll take us from 14 to 18 woodcutters. I might go so far as getting a few more as well, though, because we do have a lot of wood down here and only 1 woodcutter. So let's say we'll do 1 here. That'll be 19. Is there anywhere else that we have a whole lot of wood sitting around that we're not using too much? I guess, let's see. I guess this space up here probably has a little bit. Yeah, there's a bit there. There's a bit right there. We have got a woodcutter here already. We have 2 more down here. So I don't know that that is the best place for it. We have a woodcutter in there as well. We have 2 in the middle here. We have 1 right there. We have 1 down there. We actually, we have 1 in here as well. Interesting. Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Let's do a woodcutter right down here. Or let's say right down there, actually, because this mountain could be used for a mine at some point. And I've got a sneaking suspicion we're probably going to want to do that because I think we're also getting low on iron. Basically, everything that could go wrong is going wrong, and it's getting to be a problem. Now, we have need for 62 builders. We are not going to be doing 62 builders. I'm going to do 40, though, with 11 laborers. And I also have a sneaking suspicion that we are going to need to close some schools. We have capacity for 100 students right now. That means we have 5 teachers. That's just how it works. What I can do is take away 2 or 3 teachers, and that's going to give me 30 or 50 laborers, plus 30 or 50 laborers. I don't know if I want to do that yet. So what I'm going to do is let the game run. And we're going to see what happens. I might actually go down to 30 builders and keep 19 laborers because we do need people to move all of the resources around. And I think what I'm going to do as well is prioritize this barn because I think that'll be good to have. And then I'm going to prioritize the fishing docks over here. And I'm going to prioritize, let's see, where else can I prioritize? I do think the fishing docks kind of need to be the priority. So we'll prioritize this one. I'm going to prioritize these guys in here as well. And then the rest of it can just be built whenever. And if we can pull this off, we can pull this back from the brink. I'm not certain that I can fix everything. I'm pretty sure that we are likely going to run out of tools. We are probably going to run out of iron. We might run out of firewood. In fact, we are probably going to see some people dying of the cold and starvation, to be quite honest with you. But I want to see if I can do this. I want to see if I can pull this off. And the other bonus, I suppose, is that if things go well, we will have all of those farmers. The 174 farmers will turn into laborers for the autumn-winter seasons, which means that clearing out all of, moving the resources into all these places will be possible. I'm also thinking that I'm going to give an order to clear the resources down here, because if it comes down to it, I can put a bunch of farms down there, and that might also be a good idea. So I'm not going to prioritize that, obviously. And there we go. We just had Beverett die of starvation. We do have people that are starving, and the reason for that is just because there's not enough food to go around. We have 2,000 in storage, but 2,000 among 750 people is nothing. It's just not enough to go around. So here's hoping that we can pull this off. We have a couple of people dying here and there, which is a problem. We do have a merchant though. You've got chickens and sheep. Man, you know, eggs would probably be a good idea now that I think about it. What if I was to give you 100 of those, 1,500 there, 4 and 4 is 8. If I was to get 4 chickens at 1,600, what if I was to give you 105 of those? I'm overpaying. 104. I need to trade an additional. So let's do that. I need to trade an additional 25. So 107. Overpaying by 5. Let me make that trade. So that's going to give me some chickens. That'll give us, I would assume, eggs and chicken. And that is another source of food. Now, admittedly, we don't really have anywhere for that, but maybe that's what this space could be for. Maybe what we do is we come down into this space as well, and we see if we can't maybe build ourselves a little something something. So if I build this right here, I can bring this road down a little bit as well. I can go and maybe get myself a ranch or a pasture, whatever it's called. How big can this be? So 20 is the upper limit. So 20 by 20 for a pasture. I kind of want to do 2 of them. To be quite honest, I think 2 of them will be kind of cool. So let's see what size I can go for here. We can get 19 by 20. So we'll have 2 pastures right there. And that'll be for the chickens. Now, looking at food, we are up to near 7,500. So long as we don't have a bunch of people die, the harvest will at least go ahead. The issue is that when farmers start dying of starvation, you slow down the harvest. Because, like, say this farmer drops dead in the middle of the field, what's going to happen is you're going to need someone else to come out and replace them, and they might be across the map. It could be a laborer anywhere, really. That's essentially what happens is you run into that problem. You run into the issue of farmers dropping dead in the field and the person replacing them is across the map. It just doesn't really work very well. So here's hoping we can pull this off. It is now early winter. It is now snowing. So a lot of the farmers are probably going to turn into laborers, especially those with empty fields already. And we are actually sitting on 12,500 food at one point there. So that's promising, to be quite honest. That is actually kind of a promising result. I'm hoping that that's going to continue. We're also looking at a need for 116 fishermen right now, which is great news. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to let my builders just keep doing what they do. And when the builders have nothing left to do, at that point, actually, no, that would be dumb. Leaving it until the builders have nothing to do would be a terrible idea, because by then we could be dead. The sooner I get these fishermen working, the better. So what I'm going to do, and this is, I'm going to get rid of 1 teacher, and that's going to give me plus 20 laborers. So we're going to go up to 116 fishermen. That leaves me 23 laborers, which is fine. And I also, obviously, we need the woodcutters as well. So I hate doing that. I've always hated doing that. I've done that before in Banished over the years. It's never a good idea to close schools like that, but when we're in desperate need, we're in desperate need. So, you know, we'll do what we got to do to hopefully make this work. The good news is that is a nice little bonus to the food situation already, right? So we've still got these things down here to be built. I'm assuming these ones up here, this one at least is built. This one is not. This one over here is built as well, and it has got a barn right next to it, so that's fine. The woodcutters are coming together. It is late winter, and we do have 9,000 food as well, so that's kind of promising. And as it goes into early spring, which it just did, we can actually go and take a look at the numbers, because I'm curious to see how we did there. So what are we looking at in terms of production? Last year was 76,752 on production, 78,600 on consumption. So that's a better statistic. That's a little bit closer together. And this year, hopefully, it'll be higher because the beans tend to grow quick enough that you can actually harvest those in mid to late summer. That's the thing with beans, is they don't necessarily yield more, but because you can harvest them sooner, it seems like they yield more, if that makes sense. I don't know if it does. That might just be, it might just be a cry of desperation from me. It might just be placebo effect, but that's kind of what goes on, I think. I'm thinking that's kind of how it works. And like I said, based on the statistics that I saw, I've swapped everything out for stuff that's just better. And I'm also realizing, honestly, wheat isn't that efficient either. I'm going to swap the wheat out for beans. And then from next year, we're going to have extra bean fields, which will also hopefully be good for us. So let's swap you guys out for some beans as well. And we have need for 4 more fishermen, so let's get those going. And honestly, there's no way. Oh, wait, no, these only have 2 people each. A lot of builders. A whole lot of builders. Let me do... Oh, do I want to do more houses? I don't know if I do. We're down to 1,500 food in late spring. That is a bad way to be. So starvation is definitely gonna come about again. We're definitely gonna see some people start to keel over from that, which would be a bit of an issue. But here's hoping we can deal with it. Fishermen now need to go up to 132, so let's get that going. It leaves us 10 laborers. Let's bring the builders down to 10. So it leaves us 20 laborers now. But like I said, the goal here is that we should and hopefully will end up with a really good surplus of fish. The goal is that each of those fishing docks will lead to plus 2,000 fish per year. And so hopefully if they work the way I want them to, that's going to lead to a really solid, just a really solid surplus of food. We only need a couple of thousand more food per year to start going above and beyond the consumption right now. So here's hoping. I'm also realizing we're not doing too much building with stone. So given this doesn't have a lot left, let's bring this quarry here down to 5 people. Let's bring this one down to 10. And that'll keep us good. That gives us an excess of 15 stone cutters, which gives me enough 38 laborers, which is fantastic. Let's see. 42 is the halfway mark on this. So 21 and 21 is 42, plus 21 would be 63. Do I want to do another bunch of vendors? It's tempting, but I don't think we need it. I definitely don't think we need it. I think what we could use, like I said, oh, wrong button, is a little bit more iron, because I'm noticing that the number of tools is starting to drop a little bit. So let's get ourselves a mine while people are alive. Right, I'm thinking here, this is kind of a nice spot for it. So a mine right about there. I mean, I say it's a nice spot for it. It's right next to where everybody lives. It's a objectively, you know, terrible spot for a mine. No one's gonna be looking at this and going, I'm so glad they built that next to my house. But we can build it there, actually, which is probably better for it. So that's what we'll do. And this will be a source of iron. You know, my goal was to keep all the industrial production stuff kind of further away than this. I was hoping we wouldn't have it right next to settlements, but we do, I think, need more iron. So I think we're going to have to just sort of bite the bullet on this one and maybe just do another little bridge. I don't know. Can I do a little bridge here? I can do a little bridge there. We'll do a little bridge That'll be lovely. And we'll just see what happens, really. That's kind of the point we've gotten to, is we're just going to see what happens. It is autumn, though. We're coming up on 7,000 food. We have got some good harvests going on. A lot of the bean fields are already empty as well, which is exactly what we want. We also have need for 4 more fishermen right there, which is lovely. So we'll get that going up to almost 9,000 food as well. If we can keep that going, we're above 11,000 now. If we can keep that going, I think we can do this. The tools thing is kind of my big concern, though. That's one that always creeps up on me. And when we start running out of tools, that's going to mean that our production in general is just going to be so much worse. So if we can stay on top of that, if we can deal with that, we'll be all right. I'm also thinking that some stockpiles up here might be a really good idea, so that these woodcutters have space to put their stuff. So let's see. We'll do a nice big stockpile here, and that'll be good for them as well. We're up to 18,000 food there. I think we've done it. I think I might have pulled this off. That looked like a pretty solid harvest across the board right there, so that makes me really happy. I need to solidify that, though. And like I said, I need to make sure we don't run out of tools. We're down to 163. The limit on tools is 1,000. So at some point, I was confident enough to put it up there. I think we need to be making sure that the number of tools stays nice and high. So this extra mine is hopefully going to allow us to do that. We don't actually have a blacksmith all that close to this mine. So, well, do we? We have a tailor right there. Did I not put a blacksmith in this space? Doesn't look like I did. That's a hospital, right? Yeah, it's a hospital. There is a blacksmith. There's like 2 of them down here, back to back. I'll tell you what. Let's build ourselves a little blacksmith in here as well, just to be safe. So I can't do it that way. I can do it this way. I could do 2 of them. I don't think we need 2 of them. We're also up to 200 and something tools now, so we might not be in as bad a situation as I thought. But I'm going to do 2 blacksmiths anyway, just because better when it comes to that kind of thing. I think getting carried away is relatively safe. I don't think there's a way in which you can get carried away with. I don't think too many blacksmiths is necessarily a bad thing, especially if we're not using, you know, the iron for anything else, really. We should be upgrading houses. That's what we should be doing with the iron, but evidently I'm not doing that with it, so it is what it is. We also have some of these woodcutters coming together, which is fantastic. We now have need for 140 fishermen, so let's bring that number up. And it's early spring. We have 10,000 food. What were the numbers last year? How are we doing? 82,000 produced, 78,000 consumed. We have a surplus. We have a surplus. Now, that's not guaranteed. That's not guaranteed to last. That could still go away if I'm not careful with my next steps. But the next step is one that we've already prepared for. There are people complaining about being cold, right? These guys are all complaining about it. That's why we have these woodcutters. So we'll go ahead and get 2 more woodcutters working out here. These guys are coming together as well. So we're going to be going up to, I think 20 was the number in total. So we'll have 20 woodcutters. That's an increase of 6 from 14. That should be good enough. And keep in mind, we are regularly hitting our limit on logs. So I'm going to bring that up to, I'm going to triple that to 15,000 logs. I don't think we need 15,000 logs in storage. I don't think we're going to hit 15,000 logs in storage, but that's what we're going to do. We're going to go for that. We're going to see if we can't, you know, one day have that many logs in storage, and therefore hopefully not have any issues with woodcutters. That's the goal. At the very least. We also have these buildings coming together down here. This guy is just waiting to be built. This is just waiting to be built as well. And if needs be, I will turn off another school. I'm not going to lie. If it comes down to it, I will absolutely turn off another school. I don't want to do that, but yeah, if we need the numbers, that's what I'm going to have to do. That's just the reality of it. I'm also thinking that I'm going to bring this iron mine down from 20 miners to 15, just because I want to start moving people to the other side of town. And there we go. The reserve of iron is low. I knew that was coming. I want to move these guys over this way. There we go. Another woodcutter right there. I want to move them over this way, get this mine going, and hopefully we can get these blacksmiths to work with us. Admittedly, we are looking at 250 tools there. I think it is iron. I think the blacksmiths are doing just fine. I think the amount of iron is very much the problem. So yeah, iron and firewood are kind of the problems. We have a need for 20 woodcutters now though. So that's all done. My builders can go down to 5, leaving me 12 laborers, which is still not a good number by any stretch of the imagination. That is concerning. But like I said, if needs be, I will close a school and send those kids out to the mines and out to wherever they need to go. So I won't feel bad about it in the slightest. I will do that in a heartbeat. Oh no, I was worried this was going to happen, and I did say I would do this if this became a problem. We have 75 students. We have 1 laborer left. I am going to bring that down. We're going to bring the number of teachers down to 3. That gives us now 18 laborers. I don't like doing that. I really don't like doing that, but I don't want to run out of labor because I can't have farmers dying. I can't have the miners. The iron miners are kind of the problem. The stone cutters, honestly, we could probably start looking at getting rid of them, but I'm just going to play it as safe as I can. The firewood situation is still very much a situation, but it is starting to resolve itself. It was getting up to nearly 2,000 firewood in storage. So I think we're getting there. I think we're making progress. I think we just need to be careful. That's all I got to do is just be careful. If they would build this blacksmith, that would be great. That would give us 10 of them, which I think is probably more than enough, especially for the iron and logs. So what I've done really is I've lowered the limit on tools to 500. If we can cap out at 500, that would be absolutely fantastic. We do have 272 now, so I don't think that's going to be an issue going forward. Food here in the middle of winter is 14,000. I'm not going to look at the numbers until early spring. I don't think there's any point looking at the numbers until early spring, but I do, admittedly, I do want to see our inventory. I want to see how much stuff we have and what the breakdown happens to be. So as soon as it ticks over into early spring, I'm hoping we can get a good look at this. I'm also really concerned about the fact that there is only 60 iron left. So here's a question. Did we clear out this space? We did. We have the pastures too. So chickens, absolutely chickens. And we'll do 2 herdsmen right there. And for here, I'd like to do chickens. I can't split them, unfortunately, though. So we'll say chickens, we'll say 2 herdsmen, but we're probably going to be waiting a while for that. I'm also thinking I'm going to keep the game paused while I do this. I'm just going to bring a little path sort of down and around all of this just so that they, can walk around and do their thing. And I think I'm also going to do a barn right here. Just right in the middle between them. We can do a little barn right here. And if I want to, which I think I kind of do, I want to do some fields. So let's do a crop field. Doesn't have to be the largest in the world. It can be 15 by 10, maybe. What size would it be on this side? That would be, ooh, we can't go that way. That's fine. We can do a little bit of asymmetry here. We'll do 15 by 10 there. We'll do 15 by 10 here as well. And so 15 by 10 there. We'll leave this bit in the middle open, I guess. And then what we'll do is just bring some paths sort of down and around these guys. This side's going to be, like I said, a little bit asymmetrical, but that's okay. And I guess we'll do this. We can do this. And can I do like a house in there or a couple of houses in there? I can do one at the very least, which is probably fair enough. Let's just do this guy. We'll have someone living down here, hopefully some of the ranchers, and that'll be all right. They're going to be a little bit of a ways away from Firewood, but they'll manage, I'm sure. Bring a little path over this way as well. And let me get rid of that extra little bit of road that I put right there. So we'll get that going. It's going to be chickens and chickens. We obviously can't split it right now, but we can have up to 66 chickens, up to 63 chickens there. That's hopefully going to be a lot of eggs at some point. And it is now early spring. So let's take a look. How did we do? Ooh, that's not good. Only 74,000, 76,000 consumed. So a difference of about 2,000 isn't terrible. In our inventory right now, it is a lot of fish, which is what we were looking for. A lot of cabbage, corn, and beans. So if we can keep that going, we'll be all right. If we can keep that going, we'll be okay. I am really concerned though about the fact that the amount of iron we have is dropping rapidly. That is going to be the next problem. That is 100% going to be the next problem. If we run out of iron, we're screwed. Basically, that's the long and short of it. We are in a really bad way. So, can I build another mine? Is it going to let me do it right here? No. Can I build one down here? No. Can I build one over here? Maybe. Can I build one here? No. All right. We need one. I think we need one. I might be wrong, but I'm going to build one anyway. What about in here? Is that an option? It unfortunately is not. Okay. I'm trying to not go too far away from everything with this as well. That's the other thing I'm, wary of, is not getting too far away from things. I can build one right there. Right next to the original town. I don't know that I want to do that, but I also don't know that I have a choice. So let's build a mine right there, and that'll be okay. And let's see, can I do some houses across there? I cannot. Can I build houses in here anywhere? Not really. There's not that much room left. There might be people commuting to this thing, or some people might move house into like some of these places. I don't know. We do need another mine though. We need a more regular supply of iron than we have right now. So hopefully we can get out ahead of that. At the very least, we've managed to get out ahead of this food problem. The firewood problem will probably solve itself. Like I said, we've gone from 14 to 20 woodcutters. That should be enough. And if we can fix the iron problem, we can start upgrading some houses. They'll consume a little bit less in the way of firewood, and that'll help us out. If we can hopefully do the same with the coal mine and get more of that going, that'll help us out as well. But I think for the time being, at the very least, wait, have we really only got 2 chickens? Did I not get 4 chickens, or did they die? They might have died. Interesting. We only have 1 chicken now. Why do I only have 1 chicken? What happened to my chickens? That has me really concerned. Oh man, that might be a problem. We might need more chickens. Unless this one starts laying a bunch of eggs, we're going to be a little bit screwed on the old chicken front there. Yeah, we got no chickens now. I have no idea. I have no idea what happened. I have no idea where they went. That is, that's a bit of a worry. That is that I'm annoyed that I wasted the money on those. I guess what we'll do then is switch these over to cattle and split you. And, oh, we can set these guys to be fields as well. Let's do, I don't know. Let's do corn for these guys, I guess. And we don't have any farmers right now. We'll manage. We need up to, can I bring these down to just 2 farmers per field? I'm kind of willing to give that a shot. And good Lord, the farmer working there is far away. That's not good. That's a really big problem. Let's go up to 178 farmers. That's another 4 of them. That should be fine. We got these things coming together. I think we're going to need some people living down here. Someone was just... Broderick the vendor was stabbed to death. I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't even know that could happen. What do you mean he was stabbed to death? Hello? Stabbed to death? Really? Good Lord. This game never ceases to surprise me. It really doesn't. It really doesn't. That's a new one. I don't think I've ever seen that before. All right. I'll tell you what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and split this so that we have cattle over in that other field. I think we're going to leave it there for today. I'm going to slow things down a little bit to 5 times speed. We're at 14,000 food right now. I think the food thing has sorted itself out. I'm hoping that this extra mine here will also help us sort things out. I'm really hoping I don't need to get rid of another teacher. That wouldn't really be ideal. I am a little concerned that there's not that many kids though. We don't seem to be having that many families kind of, coming about without me building more houses. And I don't think we're at a point where we want to build more houses. So we're kind of at an impasse. I need more people, but I don't need more houses. It's a little bit complicated. I also want to see what you've got for me. Let's see. Chestnuts, pumpkins, cherry, pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds, actually, I do want. We don't have those right now. And pumpkins. So here's an interesting little detail. I think it's 168. Yeah, overpaying by 20 units. That's fine. It's 167 actually to overpay by 5. There we go. So I mentioned that beans are, you know, super effective, super efficient. That's according to one post on one Reddit thread. Apparently, according to some other sources, pumpkins are crazy efficient. So we'll try them out and we'll see what happens. Apparently they are very slow to grow, very slow to harvest, but they give the most food per tile. If that's the case, then pumpkins are going to be a really great resource, but we'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully it goes well. My builders need to do some stuff. My laborers, we're down to 7 of them, which is really, really concerning. I don't like that at all, but we are sitting just shy of 20,000 food here in late autumn. If we look at our numbers for now, production this year, 72,000. In fact, production this year is almost higher. It is now higher than production last year, and we're not even in winter yet. So we're doing pretty well. We're doing pretty well in that regard. I am really concerned about the number of laborers though. That's really got me, that's really doing me a concern is what it's doing. Anyway, I said we were going to leave it there for today. We are leaving it there for today. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. It has been an absolute pleasure as always. Oh, we might have managed to save Thatcham. We might have managed to save Thatcham. The tools thing could be the next problem, but we'll deal with that if and when it comes about. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. It has been an absolute pleasure as always. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.